Good morning, beloveds. I'm running a little late because I came home from the park and my clothes were sopping wet because it's hot. So I had to change. And that took a minute. So, all right. It is July 16th. Our title is A Challenge in Trust. Our first quote is, they that will love life and see days, let them refrain their tongue from evil and their lips that they speak no guile. The more power one gives to their thought, the more completely they believe that their thought has power. The more power it will have, and that is the science of mind. The first quote was from 1 Peter 3:10. The quote that I just did is from the Science of Mind, page 47. Early one Sunday, I received an emergency call from another minister who asked me to speak at her place that very morning. Since I am not currently serving in a pulpit and was free to accept, I immediately answered yes and thought about it later. I wasn't even dressed yet and I needed to leave in half an hour. With no time to prepare a fresh talk, I would have to use notes from a lecture I had given several months earlier. As I rushed out the door with the notes under my arm, I remembered that my car had overheated the day before. But I had made a commitment to give the talk, so as I turned the key in the ignition, I declared that God always provided for our needs, including transportation. From the moment I had said yes to my friend's request, I had continually kept my thought focused on this wonderful opportunity, knowing the universe would support me in carrying out this commitment. To my joy and relief, my car functioned perfectly. I arrived 2 minutes before the service, and inspiration flowed through me. I was reminded by this experience that the word we speak is powerful. The law of mind responds to us by saying yes to our word declared in faith. All opportunities are gifts from my divine source, and the loving presence supports my commitment to experience them. I stir my atmosphere with expectancy and positive action. I joyously focus on wonderful opportunities to express my talents and creativity for my own good and for the good of others. And that is MM, which is Marilyn Mooney. And I would bet that if her car hadn't started, somebody would have driven by at that moment and offered her a ride. And that's the way the universe works. It's when we accept that we are going to do something and we focus completely on that, the universe provides interesting ways. Sometimes they're conventional and things just work exactly the way they should. And sometimes things come out of the blue. The fact that she had 30 minutes, she didn't have time to prepare a new talk, but, all ministers keep notes from talks and we try not to tell the same stories too often, but, she knew that she had one that she could tap that would be good. And she also trusted that from the notes, the inspiration would flow. Occasionally, most of the time what I do on Sundays when I do the closing treatment, what I do is I listen to what message Jessie is giving and then incorporate that. Or if there's something in particular going on in the world, or, whatever the current holiday is, that's what I'll focus on in the closing treatment. And sometimes one day, I think it was even last Sunday, I realized that when I was getting up there to do it, I had no idea. I had nothing. I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I'm up on that platform for 3 to 4 minutes. It's not like I'm giving a full-on talk, but I didn't even have an idea. And I said that, and, Danielle just looked at me. She's, you got this. You'll be fine. And she's right. I got up there and I opened my mouth and what came out came out. So, and arguably it was pretty good. And so it is sometimes about we're being asked to trust, and we're being asked to trust something we can't see. And yet the evidence of it is all around us. And so so it's kind of like, well, if we look around, the evidence is all around us, but It's like you can't see electricity. You can see what electricity does. So you can't see God, but you can see what God does. And so, we get a little focused on evidence. It's like, show me, show me, show me. Well, look around. The evidence of what God does is all around us all the time. And so when we are willing to trust, and more importantly, willing to accept unusual things, in here, she's called 30 minutes before a service. And I remember in ministerial school, that was one of the things that they did. In one, I think it was Homiletics 1, the first speech class, where she gave us a Bible quote and 5 minutes, and we had to create, a talk, or it was probably 15 minutes, and we had to create a talk that was about 5 minutes with that Bible quote. And you want to talk about, I felt sorry for the person who went first. And when I did homiletics 2 for our final talk, and that teacher, which by the way, I'll go ahead and tell you, was Dr. Reverend Roger Teal. He was kind of hard on me, and he was right, because I wasn't, definitely wasn't working to the best of my ability, but I'd written a really good talk, but I didn't have an ending. And I was just like, I was trusting, okay, I don't know how to close this talk out. And that morning I went down and to walk on the treadmill in the hotel and read my email and got my ending. And got a huge compliment. He said, "You touched my heart." He also said I was naturally funny. So, it's like, when we trust, God will provide, and God will provide in normal ways, and God will provide in unexpected ways. And it's up to us to trust the process. It'll all work out. It'll all work out. And frequently we say, in the end, it'll be okay. And if it's not okay, then it's not the end. And so then we have to trust the process. And so for those of us who like to see the evidence around us, then that's what we want to see. We want to see the evidence. It's like, look around you. Yes, you may not be able to see God, but you will see God in action, because everything is made from God. And that's a pretty powerful place to come from. So the title is A Challenge in Trust, because we are being asked to trust something that we can't see, and yet it's all around us all the time. So we just need to broaden our definition. So 1 Peter 3:10, they that will love life and see good days, let them refrain their tongues from evil, and their lips that they speak no guile. It's focus on the good. Focus on the good. Focus on the good. Don't let the not great go, don't let the not great bog you down. And then the science of mind is, the more power one gives to their thought, the more completely they believe that their thought has power, the more power it will have. And that is from the Science of Mind, page 47. And that's the truth. It's like, where our focus goes is where our power goes. And where our power goes, that's what we're busy creating. And so sometimes when we're busy focusing on the non-preferred, and we wonder why we have so much non-preferred in our life, that's because that's what we're focusing on. And frequently the best way to combat that is to focus on the good, and focus on the little goods, and see how they add up. Okay, so that's page 47 in the Science of Mind text. And then you have the story. Early one Sunday morning, I received an emergency call from another minister who asked me to speak in her place that very morning. The fortunate thing is, this minister was not currently serving in a pulpit, was free to accept. She immediately said yes, thought about it later. She leapt before she looked, because she had faith that what she needed would be there. She wasn't even dressed yet and needed to leave in a half an hour. Okay, so with no time to prepare a talk, I would have to use notes from a lecture I'd given several months earlier. We don't want to do the lecture we just did, just in case there are some of the same people in the room. That's why we keep a file. Jesse's always joking about, he tries to recycle his stories every 2 years. As I rushed out the door with the notes under my arm, I remembered that my car had overheated the day before. But I had made a commitment to give the talk. So as I turned the key in the ignition, I declared that God always provided for our needs, including transportation. And that's one of those things where it's what I would tell people is, look, you know what? Pray for the little things. Pray for the mundane things. Don't save it for the big things. Don't save it for the dramatic things. Pray for the little things too. From the moment that I had said yes to my friend's request, I had continually kept my thought focused on this wonderful opportunity, knowing that the universe would support me in carrying out this commitment. She never focused on what I would say was arguably the negative. You know, she didn't think about the fact that she didn't have a talk prepared. She didn't think about the fact that, or she didn't have a new talk prepared. She didn't think about the fact that her car overheated. She didn't think about the fact that she only had a half an hour. She focused on this is an amazing and I'm excited to do this. Then that is where her power went. To my relief, joy and relief, my car functioned perfectly. I arrived 2 minutes before the service. Because you love it when the ministers come in with their hair on fire. And inspiration flowed through me. When we are willing to trust and open our mouth, we've got everything we need already in our heads. And it can flow through. Jesse writes notes, but he says they're just for comfort. He rarely looks at them. I'm not quite that good yet, but I'm working on it. I was reminded by this experience that the word we speak is powerful. The law of mind responds to us by saying yes to our word declared in faith. All opportunities are gifts from my divine source, and the loving presence supports my commitment to experience them. I stir my atmosphere with the expectancy and positive action. I stir my atmosphere with expectancy and positive action. I joyously focus on wonderful opportunities to express my talents and creativities for my own good and for the good of others. So that is Marilyn Mooney. And if you heard me repeat the line out of the treatment, I think that will be the mission today. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to stir our atmosphere with expectancy and positive action. We say treat and move our feet. And so that is what we are talking about. And just because we've treated doesn't mean we have to move our feet directly into that direction. Sometimes what we need to do is treat and then go do something else. And then as we are doing something else, the steps, the inspiration, the activity, whatever it is that we need will come to us as we are doing this other thing. So it's an amazing opportunity. To take it and to take it and run and trust is one of those things. It's a muscle we have to exercise. We've got to practice it. We've got to practice it, and when we are with people or situations that we don't trust, then we got to figure out what we do trust. And we can start with ourselves. Do we trust ourselves? Well, if we don't, then we've got work to do. We can trust in spirit. We can trust in love. We can trust in good. And then we'll get through it. So that's the mission. Stir your atmosphere with expectancy and positive action. And she said positive action, not positive thought. So it's like, get up and do. All right. And the other mission is the same thing that I always recommend, which is the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. There's a meme going around now, and I see it periodically, about what it's like where going to ministerial schools, like going to culinary school, where you're gifted these amazing skills. And at the end of it, you can prepare a gourmet meal. And then actual working as a minister, pastoral care, is like being on an episode of Chopped, and you never know what's in the pantry. You never know what the ingredients are going to be. And you hope to God nothing explodes that day. So that is one of the reasons why self-care is so important. Why it is important to do loving, kind, compassionate things for yourself. To practice on yourself. Because you deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. Where better to practice it than on yourself? And you cannot pour from an empty cup. So you have to stop and take care of yourself. It's like when you're on the airplane, you put your mask on, then you help your neighbor. Because won't you do you or the neighbor any good if you pass out? So, and it's, you know, the big things, the little things. Take a day off and rest. Take a nap, take a walk, take 3 deep breaths before you speak. Because, you know, words, once they're spoken, are hard to take back. But it's also about making sure that you're enjoying life, that you are taking a moment and, you know, I mentioned that gourmet meal, cooking the gourmet meal and then actually sitting down and enjoying the meal. My friend Lilia made this absolutely gorgeous salad and it was so pretty. My husband was like, we're taking pictures of this because it was beautiful and amazing. And so he wanted to record it. And then when it was time to eat it, we were both like, I'm not so sure I want to, because it's too pretty to eat. But what's the point? So we enjoyed the heck out of it. And it was good. It was amazing. She's a phenomenal cook. So make sure that you do that. It's about creating a habit. It's a habit of self-care. Okay. And creating a bank, because there are going to be days that everybody needs a little extra, including you. So, the other things are the usual things. Do something to engage your mind and your body. Do something to, drink plenty of water. It is really hot. It is really hot. So drink plenty of water. Do, bright light early in the morning. Reset the circadians. And open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around you all the time. So, catch us on the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the Running Rev Ryan. You want to know what's going on? Email info@creativelife.org. Get on that constant contact, and the hot links are hot and good. So that way, if you don't know what's going on, when I don't know what's going on, you'll always know what's going on. We have book studies and classes and things like that. And I'm just got a message from Jeffrey that I got to work on the YouTube channel for sure today. So, all right, beloveds. Have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a catter day. Take a minute and snuggle with your loved ones. Or your loved pets, or, you know, whatever. Have a magical day, enchanting day, awesome day, fantastic day, get stuff done day, take a rest day, whatever kind of day it is that you want to have, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day because you are enough just as you are. All right, beloveds. Like I said, book studies, classes. I've been mentioning the movies because that's through csl.org. So, but that'll be fun too. And then, yeah, I think I'm good. Nope. I don't know. Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. ish because I won't have to change sweaty clothes tomorrow. And then we will have an amazing service for you at 11 a.m. So check it out. Know that you are loved. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased always and forever. And I will see you next time.